Total faith in the police dive team. We work with them all the time. So, I think, Jeremy, after I heard today how the police were here so quickly to search that area where it's believed where Nicola went in, I personally don't think she's in the river. That's just my gut instinct at this point. I may be proved wrong later on, but the police have done a fantastic search already with their existing resources, plus their sonar. Now we've got our sonar. We're searching where the bench is tomorrow up the river. So we're going to go back over that area. Not that the police haven't done it, but we're just going to go further up the river tomorrow to try and, rule this river out. And then
It's tough online. A lot of people sort of supporting you. They're hanging on your every word. But then you've also got detractors, and people are accusing you of coming up here for not doing this mission out of the kindness of your heart, even though you're volunteering not only your time and your staff's time. They think that there is an ulterior motive. For the record, do you have an ulterior motive with being up here?
I have no ulterior motive. Look, I search for it. I have given my time to many cases free of charge. We get paid to do police diving operations, okay? But I offered my services for a whole week with April Jones. There was no media around all that. I never gave any interviews for that, and that's it. And then the other one was Ellis Downs. The poor lad was left laying in the river. No one could find him. I came in and found him, and I done that totally free of charge for that family. I donate life jackets to kids for schools. I do a lot for charity. I don't need publicity. The press have come to me for this. I am not openly. If I don't give information, then I'll get slated. So I'm damned if I do, I'm damned if I don't. There's no ulterior motive for me.
What message do you have to the people then who are sitting at home, keyboard warriors, accusing you of all these things?
Well, I suggest maybe they come out and maybe look for dead people underwater in the dark, murky waters on a freezing cold night at 3 o'clock in the morning when they're dealing with a drowning victim, and watch them get pulled out of the water. That's my message to them. They are heartless individuals, and they need to go and watch the paramedics work at night and the other emergency services dealing with the sort of grief we have to deal with. Well, Paul's extremely, obviously, upset. He wanted to go and see where the original entry point was again, and the water's a bit lower than it was originally when Nicola went missing. And he's all the family are clearly distraught, like anyone would be. And it's not a nice place to be. It's upsetting for me dealing with a family and dealing with a loved one who's gone missing. This afternoon we're just going to do one little area up the top, what just needs another bit of a search to do, and then at the end of the day we'll be here. Our kit will stay here, but we're all tired. I had 3 hours sleep last night, so we're all extremely tired. We've been doing long days, and it's mentally draining because the pressure's on me to try and. I said that if Nicola's here, I'll find her. If Nicola was in that river, I would have found her. I can guarantee you that. She wouldn't have. We would have found her, and she's not there, in that section of the river up there. If she is down that section, the lower section, right the way down where we haven't searched, that's not my responsibility. That's the police's responsibility to do that area.
Peter, when you spoke.
Well, Paul's extremely, obviously, upset. He wanted to go and see where the original entry point was again, and the water's a bit lower than it was originally when Nicola went missing. And all the family are clearly distraught, like anyone would be. And it's not a nice place to be. It's upsetting for me dealing with a family and dealing with a loved one who's gone missing. And I'm just trying to explain what work we're doing and give him some confidence that Nicola is not in that river over there. And obviously the police are doing all the background work. They're explaining what they're doing. So it's one big team effort to try and find Nicola at the moment.
and this was dived on a subsequent day. We searched around the front of the island here, and nothing was found on the actual day. I'm currently off the bottom again, so it's over 1.5 meters deep here. I think from memory, and dive further down later, it's about 3 meters deep just past, sorry, it's about 2 meters deep just past this island.
This was the area that you wanted to search on day one.
That's correct.
So you would have made that discovery after 6 minutes of arriving on the scene.
Yes,
overall.
That's correct.
It's very interesting. You've stated on a few occasions that if a body is discovered in water using a side scan sonar, there's no mistaking that it is indeed that of a body. And that is backed up in your book, where there's a very clear image of a body in a river. So when you made the discovery, the target in the River Wyre, were you 100% sure that's what it was?
I was totally sure that took human form straight away, and it needed to be dived straight away.
Right.
Because it was the shadows of 2 arms, 2 legs, whatever, that needed an immediate dive.
Yeah.
And that's what we wanted to do. When I contacted the police search advisor, I said, we need to put divers in now. We'll put our divers in. But he refused that request, and he said, you're not to dive, we will dive.
Did you believe the discovery of the target to be Nicola, going off the size of it?
I did.
Straight away?
Straight away, yeah.
Can you tell us exactly where this target was found and how far, more importantly, from the bench was it? I think people will be very interested to know where this target was actually found.
The target was found approximately 75 metres from the bench.
75 metres?
75 metres, just down the river from the bench, which again fits the pattern really of a person who is however she got in the river, and we'll never know, but whether she fell in or she was pushed in or I don't believe she jumped in, but it was one of these. She's in the right area.
So had the police and other search teams already searched that area where you found Nicola prior to you searching?
Yes, it had been searched thoroughly. I was told that police divers had searched it 3 times.
See, that amazes me that there was 8 to 10 days of searching and she was 75 metres away. That's baffling.
It's
Nicola's family and her friends, but what is an absolutely tragic time. And every single step of the way that we're going with this review, family liaison officers are in place, and we're making sure that we do it with as much sensitivity to them as possible. And the reason that we've commissioned the review is because, yes, it is good practice when such a major story has come out and there's been such public concern to address that public concern and ask the questions and get somebody independent to come in. I'm also concerned that in a modern policing era, in a policing investigation that was sadly correct in its hypothesis all the way along, in which officers predicted correctly, very sadly, even the day that Nicola's body would tragically be found. And yet it became such a story, particularly in the national papers, about bungling, incompetent cops, yet they were right all along. So how did the police lose control of that narrative? And I'm grateful to outlets like the Lancashire Post, BBC Radio Lancashire, Lancashire Telegraph, Blackpool Gazette, all who were very measured and sensible in their reporting and listened to what the police were saying. But that wasn't the case with a lot of the national newspapers. And then this became an internationalized, sensationalized story. And TikTok in particular, and online amateur detectives pushing conspiracy theories out, which resulted in vile abuse towards Nicola's family and friends. How did that get so out of hand? And that is one of the clear work streams for the review of the College of Policing.